The wedding dress was too tight. Maya Chen stood at the altar in a gown that didn't belong to her, staring at the empty wheelchair positioned 15 feet away. White roses filled the venue, someone else's flower choice. Classical music played softly, someone else's playlist. 200 guests whispered behind her, strangers, all of them. The wheelchair sat vacant. Her groom was late to his own wedding. He's not coming, someone murmured from the third row. Maya's hands trembled around the bouquet of lilies. They weren't even her favorite flower. The officiant cleared his throat. Perhaps we should. The doors burst open. A motorized wheelchair rolled down the aisle, and Maya's breath caught. The man operating it looked nothing like the corporate headshots she'd studied obsessively for the past week. Those photos showed Damien Cross in tailored suits, standing in boardrooms, commanding empires. This man was a shadow. Dark hair fell past his collar, unkempt. A thick beard covered half his face. But his eyes, gray and cold as winter steel, found hers with an intensity that made her step back. He didn't stop until the wheelchair was directly in front of her. "You must be the replacement," he said. His voice was rough, like he didn't use it often. Heat flooded Maya's cheeks. Around them, gasps rippled through the crowd. Even the officiant looked scandalized. "I'm Maya Chen," she said quietly. "And yes. I'm here. For the money." It wasn't a question. She lifted her chin. "For my father. There's a difference." Something flickered in those cold eyes. Surprise, maybe. Or amusement. "Is there?" He leaned back in his wheelchair, studying her like a specimen under glass. "The last one ran when she saw me." "Are you going to run, Maya Chen?" She thought about her father in the ICU, hooked to machines that beeped with every struggling breath. Thought about the debt collector who'd cornered her in the hospital parking lot. Thought about the lawyer who'd appeared like a devil with a contract and a solution. 1 year. Just survive 1 year. "No," she said. "I'm not running." "Then let's get this over with." He nodded to the officiant. "We're both here for a transaction. Might as well make it legal." The ceremony lasted 7 minutes. Maya said, "I do," and signed her name on documents that felt like shackles. Damien Cross did the same, his signature sharp and angry on the marriage certificate. When the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," Damien simply held out his hand. She took it. His grip was strong, stronger than she expected. Calloused. His palm burned against hers. "Welcome to the family, Mrs. Cross," he said, and released her immediately. The reception was mandatory. Maya stood beside Damien's wheelchair while strangers congratulated them with voices dripping in pity and curiosity. An elegant older woman in pearls approached, Damien's grandmother, Eleanor Cross. "My dear." Eleanor took Maya's hands, her eyes sharp despite her age. "You're braver than the last one." "That's promising." "Grandmother," Damien warned. "Oh hush. I'm old. I say what I want." Eleanor leaned closer to Maya, lowering her voice. "He's not always this insufferable. The accident changed him." "I'm right here," Damien said coldly. "I know, darling." Eleanor patted his shoulder. "Maya, welcome to the family. You'll need a thicker skin and a sense of humor. Preferably both." She glided away, leaving Maya alone with her new husband again. A man in an expensive suit approached, mid-30s, conventionally handsome, with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "Cousin Marcus," Damien said flatly. "Come to offer congratulations." "Of course." Marcus extended his hand to Maya. "Marcus Cross. I handle the company operations while Damien recovers." The pause before recovers was deliberate. Maya shook his hand briefly, noting how his gaze traveled over her like an appraisal. Lovely ceremony, Marcus continued. Though I must admit, Damien, we were all surprised. So sudden. Grandmother insisted, Damien replied. You know how persuasive she can be. Indeed. Marcus's smile sharpened. Well, I hope you'll both be very happy. For however long it lasts. He walked away, and Maya felt a chill that had nothing to do with the air conditioning. He seems ambitious, Damien finished. Don't trust him. I don't trust anyone here. For the first time, Damien's lips curved into something almost resembling a smile. Smart woman. The car ride to his penthouse was silent. Maya watched the city lights blur past, reality settling over her like a weight. She was married to a stranger. Legally bound for 1 year. Living in his home, playing a role, all to save her father's life. 1 year. I can survive anything for 1 year. The penthouse was glass and steel, minimalist and cold. The nurse who greeted them, a severe woman named Mrs. Patterson, showed Maya to the guest wing without warmth. Your room, she said, opening a door to a space that looked like a luxury hotel. Beautiful. Impersonal. Mr. Cross's suite is in the east wing. He requires privacy. Understood. Mrs. Patterson's gaze was calculating. The previous girl lasted 4 days before she left crying. Let's see how long you manage. The door closed, leaving Maya alone. She sat on the edge of the bed, still in the too tight wedding dress, and finally let herself breathe. Her phone buzzed. A message from the hospital, treatment scheduled. Payment confirmed. Your father is stable. Maya pressed her hand to her mouth, fighting tears. She'd done it. Sold herself into a loveless marriage, but her father would live. 1 year. She could survive anything for 1 year. Couldn't she? The debt collector's breath smelled like coffee and menace. You have 48 hours, Miss Chen. He leaned against Maya's car, blocking her exit from the hospital parking lot. Then we start taking assets. Your apartment. Your car. Maybe we visit your father's room, explain the situation. Maya's keys bit into her palm. You can't threaten a dying man. Can't I? He smiled, showing too many teeth. Your father borrowed 200,000 for your medical school. Never paid back a dime. Then he gets cancer, racks up another 300 grand in treatment. Now you're on the hook for $500,000 plus interest. I'm making payments. Minimum payments on maximum debt. At this rate, you'll be 70 before it's paid off. He pushed off her car, straightening his tie. 48 hours. Then things get uncomfortable. He walked away, whistling. Maya sat in her car for 20 minutes, hands shaking too badly to drive. Her father was 3 floors up, fighting for every breath. The experimental treatment that could save him cost another 500,000, money she'd never have in 10 lifetimes. She was drowning. Her phone rang. Unknown number. Miss Chen. A woman's voice, crisp and professional. My name is Victoria Huang. I represent the Cross family. I have a proposal that might interest you. The law office was all mahogany and old money. Victoria Huang sat behind a desk that probably cost more than Maya's entire education, a contract centered between them. Let me be direct, Victoria said. Damien Cross requires a wife. You require money. This is a business arrangement. Maya's head spun. I don't understand. Why me? You're not you specifically. You're a replacement. Victoria slid a photo across the desk, a beautiful woman with perfect hair and a practiced smile. This was the intended bride. She terminated the arrangement 3 days ago when she saw Mr. Cross's condition. His paralysis. Among other things. Victoria's expression remained neutral. The Cross family matriarch, Eleanor Cross, has terminal cancer. Her dying wish is to see her grandson married and settled. She's offered a substantial incentive. How substantial? $1 million. Paid upon completion of a 1-year marriage contract. Victoria opened the folder. Additionally, all your father's medical debts will be cleared immediately. His experimental treatment will be fully funded. Maya's vision blurred. $1 million. Her father saved. What's the catch? Several. Victoria began listing on perfectly manicured fingers. 1. You will live with Mr. Cross in his penthouse. 2. You will appear as a devoted wife in public. 3. You will attend all required family and social functions. 4. The marriage must remain legally binding for 1 full year. 5. Discretion is mandatory. No media, no tell-all interviews, no disclosure of the arrangement. And if I refuse after signing? The contract is void. Debts returned to you. Mr. Cross retains the marriage license leverage. Victoria met her eyes. This isn't romance, Miss Chen. This is a transaction. He gets appearance of stability for his grandmother and the board. You get financial freedom. Everyone benefits. Maya's hands trembled as she reached for the contract. 50 pages of legal language that essentially sold the next year of her life. Why does he need a wife so badly? The Cross Industries board questions his fitness to lead since the accident. A stable marriage demonstrates competence and planning for legacy. Also, Victoria hesitated. There are inheritance complications. If Damien dies without an heir, controlling shares pass to his cousin Marcus. Mrs. Cross wishes to prevent this. So I'm insurance. Precisely. Maya thought of her father's labored breathing. The beeping machines. The doctor's grim prognosis without treatment. Asterisk 1 year. Just 1 year, asterisk. I need a pen. She met Damien Cross exactly once before the wedding. Victoria brought her to the penthouse at midnight. He prefers late hours, she explained. The living room was dark except for a single lamp. Damien sat in his wheelchair, facing floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. He didn't turn when they entered. Mr. Cross, Victoria said. This is Maya Chen. Your bride. Does she talk? His voice was rough, disinterested. Maya stepped forward. I talk. I also have questions. Now he turned. Even in shadow, his eyes were intense. Ask. Why me? Specifically? Victoria said you're a physical therapist. 28. No family except your dying father. No romantic entanglements. No social media presence worth mentioning. He tilted his head. You're desperate enough to agree and invisible enough that no one will care when this ends. The words stung, but they were true. Your turn, Maya said. Why do you need this arrangement? My grandmother is dying. She wants to die believing I'm not alone. His jaw tightened. I owe her that much. And the cousin? Marcus? His eyes sharpened. You've done homework. I don't sign contracts blind. Something almost like respect crossed his face. Marcus would run my company into the ground within 2 years. This marriage keeps control with me until I can secure the board's confidence again. By appearing stable. By appearing human. He turned back to the window. We're done here. Victoria will handle the details. Don't be late to the wedding. Maya left, Victoria's heels clicking beside her. In the elevator, Victoria handed her a final envelope. Wedding dress details. It'll fit. We have your measurements. How? We're thorough, Miss Chen. The doors open to the lobby. One more thing. Damien doesn't know about the debt collector. He thinks you're agreeing purely for the $1 million payout. Why does that matter? It doesn't. But if he discovers external pressure was applied. Victoria's smile was thin. Let's just say he values control. Learning his bride was coerced might complicate things. The doors closed. Maya stood in the empty lobby, wedding date set, contract signed, life sold. Her phone buzzed. The hospital, * experimental treatment approved. Starting Monday, *. She pressed the phone to her chest and fought the urge to scream. The penthouse felt like a mausoleum. Maya stood in the guest room doorway at 2 a.m., unable to sleep. Everything was too quiet, too perfect, too cold. She'd unpacked her single suitcase, her entire life fitting into one closet of a room designed for someone with actual money. A sound drew her into the hallway. Voices, low and tense. She followed them to Damien's suite. The door was cracked open. Inside, Mrs. Patterson stood over Damien's wheelchair, her voice sharp. You need to take your medication. I don't need anything. Damien's voice was ice. The doctor prescribed. The doctor is an idiot. He wheeled backward. Get out. Mr. Cross, if you don't cooperate. I said get out. Mrs. Patterson's face twisted with something ugly. She grabbed the medication bottles from the side table. Fine. Suffer then. See if I care. She stormed past Maya without acknowledgement. Maya should have left. Should have returned to her room, minded her business. But she'd spent 5 years working with patients, learning to read pain, and Damien's hands were white-knuckled on his armrests. She knocked softly. I said, he turned, saw her. What do you want? I heard. Maya stepped inside uninvited. She's withholding your pain medication. It's none of your concern. Actually, it is. Maya crossed her arms. I'm a licensed physical therapist. Withholding prescribed medication is abuse. I could report her. Don't. His voice cut like glass. I don't need you fighting my battles. It's not fighting your battle. It's basic human decency. They stared at each other. In the dim light, she could see the tension in his jaw, the exhaustion around his eyes. He was in pain, had been for hours probably. When did you last sleep? She asked quietly. What are you, my nurse now? No. I'm your wife. The word felt strange. Legally, anyway. Which means I live here. Which means I'm not watching someone hurt you in your own home. Something shifted in his expression. Surprise, maybe. Or suspicion. Why do you care? Because someone should. Maya walked to his side, professional instinct taking over. Where's the worst pain? Lower back? Legs? You're not. I'm asking as a therapist, not a wife. Where? He hesitated, then, lower back. Nerve damage. May I? She gestured to his chair. He nodded, wary. Maya's hands found the pressure points along his spine, applying gentle counterpressure. Professional. Clinical. But she felt him tense, then slowly relax under her touch. You have more mobility than you're showing, she said quietly. Your muscles aren't completely atrophied. His entire body went rigid. What are you implying? I'm not implying anything. I'm observing. She stepped back. But if you want actual help instead of Mrs. Patterson's abuse, I'm qualified. If you don't, I'll stay in my wing and we'll pretend we don't exist to each other. Why would you help me? Because I'm going to be here for a year. Maya met his eyes. Might as well do something useful. Damien studied her for a long moment. Then, barely audible, fire Mrs. Patterson. Tomorrow. Done. And Maya? His voice stopped her at the door. Thank you. She turned back, surprised. But he'd already wheeled himself toward the windows, dismissing her. In her room, Maya's phone glowed with a text from an unknown number, *, stop asking questions about the accident. Some doors should stay closed, *. Her blood ran cold. She hadn't told anyone she'd been researching Damien's car crash. Someone was watching. Maya fired Mrs. Patterson on day 3. The nurse left threatening lawsuits and slander, but Damien's lawyer made her sign an NDA within hours. Whatever Maya had witnessed wasn't the first incident. Now Maya and Damien existed in careful orbit. She stayed in her wing. He stayed in his. They passed each other in hallways like ghosts, barely speaking. Until the night she heard the crash. 3 a.m. Glass shattering in Damien's gym. Maya ran, found him on the floor beside his overturned wheelchair, surrounded by broken mirrors. Blood dripped from his knuckles. Don't, he warned as she approached. She knelt anyway, examining his hands. What happened? I fell. Leave it. You didn't fall. You punched the mirror. She pulled glass shards from his skin. Why? His laugh was bitter. Why do you think? I'm trying to stand and I can't. I try every goddamn night and I fail. Maya looked at the parallel bars across the room, the weights, the equipment. He'd been attempting therapy alone, in secret, night after night. You're doing it wrong, she said quietly. Excuse me. Your approach. You're pushing too hard, too fast. Nerve damage requires patience, not force. She met his eyes. Let me help. Professionally. I don't need. Yes, you do. Maya stood, extending her hand. You can keep failing alone, or you can let me do my actual job. Your choice. Damien stared at her hand for a long moment. Then, slowly, he took it. His grip was strong, stronger than it should be. She helped him back into the wheelchair, hyper-aware of the heat of his skin, the tension in his shoulders. Tomorrow morning, she said. 7 a.m. We start properly. Why are you doing this? Because watching you bleed on gym floors at 3 a.m. is depressing. She grabbed the first aid kit. And because you're right, I should do something useful while I'm here. She cleaned his knuckles in silence. His eyes never left her face. Maya. The contract says you have to live here and attend events. It doesn't say you have to give a damn. His voice was quieter. So why do you? She taped the last bandage. Maybe I'm tired of not giving a damn about anything. Something passed between them. Understanding, maybe. Or the first crack in both their carefully constructed walls. The next morning, Damien was in the gym at 6:55 a.m. Maya hid her smile and got to work. Meanwhile, in Marcus Cross's downtown office, a different conversation unfolded. She's not leaving, Marcus said into his phone, jaw tight. And she fired the nurse we planted. The voice on the other end was cold. Then escalate. The longer she stays, the more attached he becomes. We need him isolated, not rehabilitated. What do you suggest? Remind Miss Chen why she's really there. Her father's treatment is expensive. Ongoing. Would be tragic if funding stopped. Marcus smiled. Understood. He hung up and pulled up Maya's file on his computer. Physical therapist. Drowning in debt. Father in hospice care. So many pressure points. So easy to apply pressure. The therapy sessions became their routine. Every morning, 7 a.m. sharp. Maya pushed Damien harder than any therapist had dared. He pushed back with sharp words and sharper glares. But he showed up. Every single day. Again, Maya ordered, hand supporting his weight as he attempted to stand using the parallel bars. I can't. You can. Stop thinking, start moving. Damien's arms shook with effort. His legs trembled, muscles firing in patterns they'd forgotten. Sweat dripped down his face. I hate you, he gasped. Good. Channel it. Her hand steadied his hips. 3 more seconds. He made it to 5 before collapsing back into the wheelchair, breathing hard. Maya handed him water. Better. You held longer. By 2 seconds. Groundbreaking. 2 seconds more than yesterday. She knelt to check his leg alignment. You have nerve sensation here. And here. The doctors were wrong about permanent paralysis. His hand caught her wrist. Don't. Don't what? Give me hope. His eyes were dark, haunted. 3 doctors said I'd never walk again. I've made peace with. You haven't made peace with anything. You're angry every second of every day. Maya didn't pull away. But anger can be fuel. Use it. They stayed like that, her kneeling, his hand on her wrist, both breathing too fast for it to be just exertion. Why do you care if I walk again? His voice was barely audible. Because you deserve better than giving up. Something cracked in his expression. Vulnerability, raw and unexpected. The moment shattered when his phone buzzed. Marcus's name flashed on the screen. Damien's face went cold. He released her wrist, answering. What? Maya couldn't hear Marcus's words, but she watched Damien's expression harden with each second. Understood. We'll be there. He hung up. Family dinner. Friday night. Your first public appearance as my wife outside the wedding. Okay. Marcus will be there. My grandmother. The board members. His jaw tightened. They'll be looking for cracks in the facade. Then we don't give them any. Damien studied her. You're not afraid of them. Should I be? Most people are afraid of my family. Maya stood, brushing off her knees. I married you, didn't I? I'm either fearless or stupid. For the first time since she'd met him, Damien Cross laughed. A real laugh, surprised and genuine. I haven't decided which yet, he said. Neither have I. She headed for the door. Same time tomorrow. And Damien? Yes. Wear the compression sleeves I ordered. They'll help with the nerve pain. She left before he could argue. That afternoon, Maya found an envelope slipped under her door. Inside, a single photograph of her father in his hospital bed, and a note in elegant handwriting. Asterisk, his treatment is so expensive. It would be unfortunate if complications arose. Play your role well, Maya. Don't get too comfortable. Asterisk. No signature. But she knew who sent it. Her hands shook as she burned the photo in the bathroom sink. The dress appeared in Maya's room the day before the dinner. Midnight blue silk with a neckline that was elegant, not revealing. Shoes that fit perfectly. Jewelry that probably cost more than her car. A note in Damien's sharp handwriting, asterisk you'll need armor. This should work, asterisk. The Cross family estate was all old money and older secrets. Maya entered on Damien's arm, he was walking now, slowly, with a cane. Every board member who saw him gasped. Damien, his grandmother Eleanor said warmly, kissing his cheek. You're standing. Maya's been helping. His hand tightened on Maya's waist. She's an excellent therapist. Among other things, I'm sure. Marcus appeared, champagne in hand, eyes calculating. Maya, you look lovely. That dress is new. Damien's gift, Maya said smoothly. How generous. Marcus's smile didn't reach his eyes. Though I suppose he can afford generosity. For now. The threat was barely veiled. Dinner was a minefield. Board members asked pointed questions about their whirlwind romance. Marcus watched everything with predator eyes. Eleanor intervened when the questions got too invasive, but Maya felt exposed, examined. "How did you meet?" an older board member asked. Maya's mind blanked. They hadn't prepared a story. "Through a mutual friend," Damien said smoothly. Maya was consulting on accessibility improvements for the company. "I was impressed by her expertise. And her refusal to let me intimidate her." He looked at her, and something in his eyes made her breath catch. "He was a terrible patient," Maya added, finding her voice. "Still is." The table laughed. Tension broke. Damien's hand found hers under the table, squeezed once. "Thank you." After dinner, Marcus cornered her on the terrace. "You're playing this well," he said quietly. "Very convincing." "I'm not playing anything." "Aren't you?" He stepped closer. "I know about your father's medical bills. The debt. The very convenient timing of this marriage." Maya's blood went cold. "I also know," Marcus continued, voice dropping, "that his treatment center is privately funded. By my family's foundation. Which I control." He smiled. "Just something to remember, when you're deciding where your loyalties lie." "Is that a threat?" "It's a reminder. Damien's recovery is inconvenient for certain parties. If you truly care about your father's health." "Maya." Damien's voice cut through the darkness. He stood in the doorway, leaning on his cane. "We're leaving." Marcus's smile widened. "Of course. Lovely seeing you both." In the car, Damien's jaw was tight. "What did he say?" "Nothing important." "Don't lie to me." Maya turned to face him. "He knows about my father. The debt. He's threatening to pull funding if we don't. If you don't sabotage my recovery." Damien's voice was flat. "Yes." Silence stretched between them. "I'm sorry," Maya whispered. "I should have told you everything from the beginning. About the debt collector, about how desperate I was. I knew." She froze. "What?" "I've known for 2 weeks. Since I had you investigated." He met her eyes. "I know about the threats, the timeline, all of it." "Then why didn't you say anything?" "I wanted to see what you'd choose." His hand cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheek. "Money or me? That's cruel." "Yes." He leaned closer, his breath warm against her lips. "But I needed to know if you were here just for the contract, or if maybe." He kissed her. Maya pulled away, heart hammering. "We can't." "Why not?" Damien's eyes searched hers. "The contract doesn't forbid actual feelings. Because it's not real." But even as she said it, her hand was still on his chest, feeling his heartbeat race beneath her palm. "Isn't it?" His thumb traced her jaw. "You show up every morning at 7. You push me harder than anyone ever has. You fired a nurse for me. You stood up to Marcus without flinching. That's just." "Just what?" "Your job." He laughed bitterly. "Your job ended at physical therapy. Everything else is you choosing to care." The car stopped at the penthouse. They rode the elevator in charged silence. Inside, Maya paced. "This complicates everything. Everything's already complicated." Damien set his cane aside, standing without support, still shaky, but standing. "I'm falling for my contract wife. She's being threatened by my cousin. My grandmother is dying. My company hangs by a thread. What's one more complication?" "Damien. I know you're scared. I know this wasn't the plan." He crossed to her, steady steps despite the tremor. "But somewhere between you calling me insufferable and me watching you burn yourself out to help me walk, this stopped being just business. Maya's eyes burned. Marcus will use this. He'll hurt my father if I don't. Let him try. Damien's voice went cold, dangerous. I've been building a case against him for 8 months. The accident wasn't random, Maya. Someone tampered with my brakes. She went still. Marcus? I can't prove it yet. But he had motive, control of the company. Means, he knew my route, my schedule. An opportunity, he was the last person in the garage that morning. Damien's jaw tightened. I've been pretending to be weaker than I am, buying time to gather evidence. That's why you hid your progress. If he knew I was recovering, he'd act faster. More desperately. He took her hands. But now you're in the crossfire. And I won't let him hurt you or your father. How do we stop him? We prove what he did. And we do it before the board meeting next month. Damien pulled out his phone, showing her files. These are brake line photos from the mechanic who serviced my car. He noticed tampering but was paid to stay silent. I tracked him down last week. He's willing to testify if we guarantee protection. Maya scrolled through the evidence. This could destroy Marcus. That's the idea. But if he finds out we know. Damien's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, *, nice evening. Your wife looks beautiful in blue. Shame if something happened to her father tonight. Complications do arise in ICU, *. Maya's blood turned to ice. He's at the hospital, she whispered. We have to. Damien was already calling security, ordering them to her father's room immediately. The next 20 minutes were agony. Maya's hands shook. Damien kept her close, one arm around her shoulders while he coordinated protection on speakerphone. Finally, the call came. Mr. Cross, security is stationed. Patient is safe. No unauthorized visitors allowed. Maya collapsed against Damien, relief flooding through her. He's playing dirty, Damien said quietly. We need to move faster. How? The board meeting. We expose him publicly, with the mechanic's testimony and the brake evidence. Once it's public, he can't retaliate without confirming guilt. That's 2 weeks away. Then we have 2 weeks to survive. He tilted her chin up. Together. Maya kissed him this time. Desperate, grateful, terrified. When they broke apart, breathless, Damien pressed his forehead to hers. I meant what I said earlier. I'm falling for you. I know, Maya whispered. Me too. Terrible timing. The absolute worst. They both smiled. Outside, Marcus Cross watched the penthouse lights through binoculars, phone to his ear. They're on to us. Accelerate the timeline. Maya's phone exploded with notifications. Her father's doctor, frantic, Miss Chen, your father's condition has deteriorated. We need to transfer him immediately to intensive care. But there's a problem with insurance authorization. What problem? Everything was approved. The foundation funding his treatment just pulled authorization. They're citing irregularities in the contract. The doctor's voice was strained. Without immediate reinstatement, we have to discontinue the experimental treatment within 24 hours. Maya's world tilted. Who pulled it? Marcus Cross. He's listed as the foundation director. She hung up, hands shaking. Damien appeared in her doorway, already dressed. I heard. He's forcing your hand. If I don't, Maya couldn't finish. Damien's phone buzzed. A message from Marcus, * board meeting is in 3 days. Withdraw your accusations and convince the board to vote for my leadership transition plan. In exchange, your father-in-law's treatment continues. You have 12 hours to decide, *. He's cornering us, Damien said, voice deadly calm. Forcing us to choose between exposing him and saving your father. Maya's vision blurred. I can't let my father die. And I can't let Marcus win. But his voice cracked. Maya, if he takes control, he'll run the company into the ground. 3,000 employees will lose jobs. My grandmother's legacy, destroyed. I know. Tears streamed down her face. But he's my father. They stood in terrible silence. There has to be another way, Damien finally said. What way? We don't have proof strong enough yet. The mechanic is still scared to testify publicly. Without his statement. Then we get it tonight. Damien grabbed his phone. We offer him whatever he needs. Protection, money, relocation. Marcus will retaliate before we can. Not if we move first. Maya wiped her eyes. What are you thinking? Emergency board meeting. Tomorrow, not in 3 days. We present everything we have, the break evidence, the financial trails, the witness statement if we can secure it tonight. His eyes were fierce. We go public before he expects it. That's insane. We're not ready. We'll never be ready. But waiting gives him time to hurt your father, intimidate witnesses, cover tracks. Damien took her hands. Trust me. Maya looked at this man she'd married for money, who'd become so much more. Okay. Okay. Let's burn it all down. 6 hours later. The mechanic sat across from them in a safe house, hands shaking. If I testify, Marcus will kill me. If you don't, Damien said quietly, he'll kill again. And keep killing until someone stops him. The mechanic looked at Maya. You're the wife. The one he's threatening? Yes. My daughter's a physical therapist too. His eyes welled. Same age as you. I keep thinking, if someone threatened her the way he's threatening you. He reached for the pen. Where do I sign? Marcus received the emergency board meeting notice at midnight. He smiled, made a call. Move the timeline up. Tomorrow morning, before the meeting. Make it look like heart failure. The father? Yes. Send a message. No one outplays me. Maya's phone rang at 6 a.m. The hospital. Her heart stopped. What happened? Miss Chen, there was an incident overnight. A man tried to enter your father's room claiming to be family. Security stopped him, but the nurse hesitated. Your father is asking for you. Maya and Damien arrived within 15 minutes. Her father was awake, frail but alert, surrounded by security guards Damien had stationed. Maya. Her father's voice was weak. The nurse told me everything. The marriage, the contract, the threats. Dad, I can explain. You sacrificed yourself for me. Tears rolled down his weathered face. Just like I did for your mother. And it destroyed us. Maya took his hand. It's not the same. Isn't it? He squeezed her fingers. I went to prison to pay her medical bills. She survived, but she never forgave me for the crime. Died resenting the choice I made. His eyes found Damien. Don't let my daughter make my mistakes. Don't let her trade her life for mine. Sir, Damien started. I'm dying anyway. Experimental treatment or not, I have months, maybe weeks. Her father's gaze was clear. But she has years ahead. Don't let that bastard use me as leverage. Maya sobbed. I can't just let you. You can. You will. He pulled her close. Fight him, Maya. Win. Live. 2 hours later, emergency board meeting. The conference room was packed. Board members, lawyers, company executives. Marcus sat at the head of the table, confident. This emergency meeting is highly irregular. So is attempted murder. Damien stood without his cane, walking steadily to the presentation screen. 8 months ago, someone tampered with my car brakes. I survived. Barely. Gasps around the table. That's a serious accusation, Marcus said smoothly. Do you have proof? Yes. Damien clicked to photos of brake lines. This is my car, 3 days before the accident. Note the clean cut on the hydraulic line, not wear, not accident. Deliberate sabotage. That could be anyone. Including you. Damien clicked again. Security footage appeared, Marcus in the garage, near Damien's car, the night before the accident. Time stamped. You were the last person near my vehicle. Marcus's composure cracked. That's circumstantial. Then let's add the mechanic's testimony. Damien nodded to the door. Russell Morrison entered, flanked by lawyers. I was paid $50,000 to keep quiet about the brake tampering I discovered during the post-accident inspection, Russell said, voice shaking. Paid by Marcus Cross. The room erupted. Marcus stood. This is absurd. He's obviously been coached. We have the bank transfers, Damien interrupted. From your shell company to his account. Would you like me to display those too? Marcus's face went white, then red. You self-righteous hypocrite. You married a gold digger for appearance, and you're lecturing me about ethics? I married a woman who saved my life. Damien's voice was steel. And I'm sending you to prison. Security entered. Marcus lunged across the table at Damien. You were supposed to die. The company is mine. Grandmother promised. The outburst sealed his fate. As guards restrained Marcus, dragging him from the room, he screamed threats until the doors closed. Silence fell. Eleanor Cross, Damien's grandmother, wheeled herself forward. I believe we have our answer about leadership fitness. All in favor of confirming Damien Cross as permanent CEO? Every hand rose. Maya waited outside. When Damien emerged, she searched his face. It's over, he said. She collapsed into his arms. Your father. Resting. The doctor says stress caused the deterioration, not the treatment pause. With Marcus gone. She looked up. He might have more time than we thought. Damien kissed her forehead. Then we'll make every day count. 6 months later. Maya woke to sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows and Damien's arm wrapped around her waist. They'd moved her to the master suite 3 months ago. Neither mentioned it was a choice, not a requirement. Coffee's ready, Damien murmured against her neck. Your father's arriving at 9 for breakfast. She turned in his arms. You're walking without the cane now. Thanks to a stubborn therapist who refused to let me quit. He kissed her softly. Best investment I ever made. I wasn't an investment. No. You were a miracle disguised as a contract. Her father had defied every prognosis. The experimental treatment, combined with reduced stress after Marcus's arrest, had given him 6 good months. He'd moved into the penthouse's guest wing, was painting again, laughing again. Marcus was awaiting trial on attempted murder charges. The evidence had been overwhelming. Eleanor had passed peacefully 2 months ago, holding both their hands, whispering that she'd known all along the marriage was arranged, and that she'd never seen Damien happier. The contract expires today, Maya said quietly. I know. Damien traced her jawline. Technically, you're free to leave. Collect your $1 million and disappear. Is that what you want? What I want, he said, pulling a small velvet box from the nightstand, is to do this properly. Inside was a ring, simple, elegant, with a single diamond that caught the morning light. I know we're already married. But that was a transaction. He took her hand. Maya Chen, will you marry me again? For real this time. No contracts, no conditions, no expiration date. She was crying and laughing simultaneously. You're proposing to your own wife. I'm proposing to the woman I love. The wife thing is just a technicality. Yes. She kissed him. Yes, you impossible man. He slid the ring onto her finger, and she realized it was engraved inside, though the storm rages, love remains. I had it custom made, he admitted. Too sentimental. Perfect. She held his face in her hands. You're perfect. I'm really not. Perfect for me, then. A knock interrupted them. Her father's voice, are you two coming down, or should I eat all the pancakes myself? They dressed quickly, laughing. In the kitchen, her father had already started cooking. Damien's chef had declared him a natural and often let him take over. Sleep well? Her father asked, smirking. Dad, Maya warned, blushing. What? I'm old, not dead. He flipped a pancake expertly. Besides, I like seeing you happy. Really happy. Damien's phone buzzed. His lawyer, Marcus, pled guilty this morning. 20 years minimum. It's over. He showed Maya. She exhaled relief she'd been holding for months. It's really over, she whispered. No. Damien pulled her close. It's really beginning. After breakfast, they stood on the terrace overlooking the city. The same spot where she'd first truly seen him, 6 months ago, broken, angry, alone. Now he stood tall, whole, theirs. I came here for money, Maya said softly. I stayed for duty. And now? Now I'm here because this is home. Your home. Damien turned her to face him. I was dying before you. Not from the accident, from giving up. You gave me a reason to fight. We saved each other. Yes. He kissed her, deep and sure. And we'll keep saving each other. Every day. For the rest of our lives. From inside, her father called, the lawyers here with the contract termination papers. They signed them together, officially ending the business arrangement. Then Damien pulled out new papers, a real marriage license application. Let's do this right, he said. Maya signed without hesitation. 3 months later. The second wedding was small. Just family, real friends, people who mattered. Maya walked down the aisle in a dress she'd chosen herself, toward a man who stood waiting, no wheelchair, no pretense, just Damien. When the officiant said, you may kiss your bride, Damien whispered, second time's the charm. Third time, technically. Then we'll just keep getting married until we get it perfect. They kissed, and Maya thought about the frightened woman who'd stood at an altar 6 months ago, marrying a stranger for money. She'd found so much more than financial freedom. She'd found home. She'd found love. She'd found herself. And that was worth everything.